And welcome to the Tom Sawyer Show here on the Warrior Sports Network. I'm Grant Wall, joined as always by Winona State's head football coach, Tom Sawyer. And Coach, a real offensive shootout emerged in the second half on Saturday down at Upper Iowa. You win the game 45-42. Another one of those games you have to have a little conflicting emotions, have to be very happy with the way the offense played, scoring 45 points, but a little concerned that Upper Iowa was able to put 42 on you.
No, there's no conflict. I'm really excited we won. That's all that matters.
That's right.
You know, and in this league, and you know, the way the Northern Sun is right now, that everybody has athletes that can play and they can get behind you in a hurry. And yeah, you know, there's some things we got to continue to work on defensively. But when a team gets hot like that, it doesn't matter. They're doing it against the best teams. You go back to this week and saw, you know, St. Cloud put over 600 on Duluth. So you know, it can happen any week with any team. And so we're fortunate to get out of there with a win. It's tough on the road, a day trip, all that stuff added to kind of the mix. But we came out, played really well. We're up 28-14 at half, and then we kind of went to sleep a little bit. So we got to continue to work on that. It's getting hot and staying hot the entire game. And making sure that we can control tempo. And we lost tempo for a while, and then had to fight for our lives down the stretch. But we learned a lot about our team, coming from behind and winning the game. All those things will play into games later on down the road.
And when it really mattered, both offensively and defensively, you buckled down, got a touchdown run from Rayon Simmons. Upper Iowa gets the ball back, immediately picked off by Jared Mitchell. He takes it in for a touchdown. And then Upper Iowa had two more shots at it and couldn't get anything down the field at the very end of the game. Your defense really stepped up when they needed to. So both sides of the ball, they're late in the fourth quarter, came through well.
Yeah, you look at the defensive side, you know, we played well in the first half. Then you couldn't really run the ball at us. They started winging around a little bit more than they probably even wanted to. But, you know, their quarterback was very good. Jaski was very good, and he threw the ball accurately. But at the end of the day, you know, we had a tip ball by Darby, an interception by Mitchell for a touchdown, and Morgan Weaver dives for one on a fourth down play to kind of put the game, to seal the game. I mean, those are big plays. Those are huge plays. And with our backs against the wall and they're having the football at midfield, anything can happen with it, you know, a 2-point game. So, you know, or a 3-point game at that point. So we're like, okay, let's get out of here and go to the next one.
Last week it was Chris Norgard making an interception and 11 tackles against a very good receiver up at Mary. This week it's Darby Lundy, same 11 tackles, breaks up a pass. You've got a couple corners who are just playing fantastic football right now for you. Yeah,
you know, and he had one opportunity that got away from him too. He had perfect coverage on a touchdown that they had. The Huntley kid scored one late, and you know, he was right there, just didn't see the football. He turns his head, it's a pick. So that even made, maybe we got player of the week, who knows. But it's one of those deals where he's a very good athlete. He likes to be challenged. You know, Chris didn't play this week, and we hope that he'll be back, you know, here against Sioux Falls and get back to full strength. And you know, but Ryan Williams played excellent, and Jared Mitchell really on his second start for us, and he's starting to play really well. Great athlete, just learning how to play football for us.
Offensively, John Teagland had another great night throwing the football over 300 yards. That's his second 300-yard game already this season. We talk about it every week, but he seems to be really locked in right now with what the offense is doing.
Yeah, he's throwing the ball really well, and you know, and he didn't practice all week, you know, or much of the week, but he did come back and threw the ball excellent. The first half he was spot on. We had one drop to start the game. The first play he threw it about 63 yards in the air and hit Josh Mikas in stride. He just lost it in the sun. But we came back and did the same thing later and got the touchdown. But yeah, he's winging it around pretty well right now. His leadership is excellent, and we got to keep him healthy as well. But you know, the offensive line gave him plenty of time to throw the ball, and he can do it.
And we'll talk to one of the offensive linemen, James Poliquin, here in a little bit. But that's a unit. We talk each week about Rayon Simmons and John Teagland and the numbers that they're putting up. And the offensive line, they're the ones allowing those numbers to go each week, and they're playing really, really well right now.
Yeah, that's a pretty solid core, you know, and they've been kind of beat up too. They got, you know, guys in and out. One's playing guard, then all of a sudden he's playing tackle, and we're moving guys around. And A.J. Blazik and Ryan Markrath have done a nice job with really buying into a concept learning that I've, you know, I'm a freak about that anyway. And to watch our guys really be able to step into somebody else's role and handle it without really skipping a beat has been really important this year to us. And now we're starting to get a couple guys back, and here in the next couple weeks, you know, we'll be back to full strength in that offensive line, and that really can make a difference when we need to control the football and protect the quarterback.
We'd be remiss if we didn't talk about Rayon Simmons for a little bit. He becomes the first player in school history to go over 4,000 rushing yards. Just a little over 200 yards still needed for him to become the conference's all-time leading rusher. A guy who has really been a workhorse for you all year, rushes for 191 yards on Saturday against Upper Iowa, but a guy who just, you can turn around and hand the ball to him time and time again, and he gets results.
Yeah, and he's just a power back. I mean, that's what he does. And there was a couple times in the game where he could have went towards the sideline and ran free without people hanging on him for a few steps anyway, and chose not to. Chose to find somebody to run into. But that's just the way it is. It's his style, and he gets better as the game goes on. He wasn't actually at his best, but he ended up with a lot of yards. And you put that offensive line core together. They don't need to be awesome. They just need to get bodies on people, and he can make the rest happen because he can't bring them down as just an arm tackle. And then we bring in as a changeup. We bring in Chichi Ojika, who's a speed back, and all of a sudden that's a different picture for guys too. So it's been a pretty good mix. But for us to win, he's got to carry the ball a bunch, and maybe not 30 times a game, but he needs to carry it enough for us to continue to move the chains and eat up some clock.
We'll go forward this week now. Sioux Falls, they're a conference newcomer, first year in the league, an NAIA power who won a lot of games at that level. Now they're 5-0 and ranked here in the Northern Sun. What do you have to do against this Sioux Falls team to come out with a win on Saturday?
Well, we just got to play error-free. I mean, we can't give the ball away. We obviously can't turn the ball over. They're very explosive offensively, as we are. So there'll be a lot of balls flying around the field. They play an open style of offense, and their skill kids are very, very good. Their coaches do a great job on the defense. They're not a blitz-happy team, but they're very sound. They're very physical, and kids can run to the football. So we have to play. We have to play great. We got to take care of the ball, and we get opportunities in the red zone. We got to put the ball in the end zone. So I'm sure it'll be a pretty exciting football game. But they're very good, and we respect that. You're 5-0 in this league. I don't care who you're playing. That's a great start to a year, and they deserve everything that they've gotten so far in the league.
You mentioned ball security. Just one turnover for your team in the last couple games. Taking care of the ball, it's something that I know you preach every day, but it's something that your guys have done pretty well so far this season.
Yeah, we don't put it on the ground very much at all, and that's really a luxury. And we talk about winning games in the the plus-minus category, the turnover margin, and that's something we've always been pretty good at. And right now, we're doing a great job. I think we had one pick in the end zone last week. It kind of hurt us. Obviously, we could have been up by 3 touchdowns at that point, but we overcame it. And so in our running backs, the Rays had 1 fumble all year, and so we're taking good care of the football when you're carrying it 40 times a game and not putting it on the deck. That's hard for defenses because turnovers create points, and we did the same thing to Mary, and we also did the same thing to Upper Iowa the last couple weeks on the flip side.
Well, it'll be a fun night on Saturday, 6 o'clock against Sioux Falls. A great night last Saturday in the win over Upper Iowa. Lots of highlights coming out of that game, and we will show you all of the highlights when we come back.
Financial startophobia. Fear of financial endeavors causing putting off till the day after tomorrow that which should have been done the day before yesterday.
If you have financial startophobia, I would recommend Merchants Bank. I had a little touch of financial startophobia, had a good recommendation, went to the bank, and had a great experience. Merchants Bank has personal service. I'm not afraid of anything. They've been around for over 130 years. You know who you're dealing with. Merchants Bank, the bank that's service-built.
Welcome back to the Tom Sawyer Show. We promised there were a lot of highlights from Saturday's win over Upper Iowa. Let's take a look at them now. First one here, Ryan Simmons up the gut, carrying people like he usually does. Now we'll switch over to the defensive side. Great play by Ryan Williams.
Yeah, when we bring him down out of that safety position, he's going to make something happen, and most times it's positive, so it's kind of fun.
This one here, a pass breakup by the Warrior defense.
Yeah, we did a nice job, and a big hit by Ryan at the end of that. But Larry Mabayu started that corner for us, and actually did a nice job all the way through the game.
Ran here with a nice long run, getting to the outside.
Yeah, some places he doesn't usually go very often. It's towards the sideline, but they did a nice job where he used his body very well on that particular play. And boy, I tell you what, our defense was flying around earlier in the game, weren't they?
Yeah, look at that pursuit, making the tackle for loss for the Warrior defense. We'll get a couple passes here from John Teaglin. The first one is screen to Ryan. That's a lot of room for him to work with.
Yeah, and again, he kind of cut back into the middle and got caught up with some pursuit, but another big play for the Warriors. We're trying to be as diverse as we can in our offense.
This one's going to go to Jay Adams, crossing over the middle of the field for a big gain.
Yeah, it's a route that we saw that we've had it in our whole offense, the whole year, but we used it quite a bit. The opening was there on the backside diagonal, so we used it a lot.
Nice defensive play here again for the Warriors. Getting another tackle for loss, Ryan Williams again. And now we'll see John Teaglin throwing the football here, a play-action pass to Jay Adams again.
Yeah, again, it's the same route, just going the other way that you saw in a previous clip. But again, down to the end zone or inside the 20-yard line, and it gives us an opportunity here for Rayon to take it in.
Sets up the touchdown for Rayon. A lot of batted balls for Warrior defense. That's one right there, breaking up a pass. And then here, Rayon Simmons again, doing what he does best.
Well, you saw that the blocking out front, guys did a great job. Ishmael Karan, the tight ends, did a great job opening at the offense open on the edge of the defense.
Here in the open field, a great tackle by Darby Lundy.
Well, you see a little bit of his athletic ability, getting off the block and making a play for a loss.
And then capitalizing on miscues. A fumble recovery right here.
Yeah, again, the ball's on the ground. Ryan Williams happens to be right there. Gage Ridenour is there, and Terrell. I mean, those guys are flying around pretty well. And here's the touchdown by Tyler Spear. Big play hitter for us, and did a great job getting in the end zone.
Back-to-back passes here. We're going to see this first one to Sean Hurts.
Again, moving the sticks. We got him in cover 3 and got him to drop out on us. We came under, using the sideline to our advantage.
This one, Dylan Olferts, the sophomore.
Yeah, it was a nice play. It was second and long there, 2nd and 15, and we did a good job moving the drive chain down. There's you can see the fake throw and then hand off. We use that a lot, get people out of position, and Rayon doing his thing.
This one also to Rayon, another screen pass that he's going to take for some big yards.
Well, again, you see all the guys laying on the ground. That's Poliquin out there, and Lilla, and Corey Christensen, and those guys are willing to get downfield and do some damage.
You mentioned the big touchdown. This is Josh Mikes, the freshman.
Yeah, he's a true redshirt freshman, but unbelievable that talent that he has and how fast he can get behind the defense. In fact, it happened 2 or 3 times in the game.
Screen pass, this one, Chichi Ojika, who can really move.
Yeah, you see how fast he is. He's 1 block away. In fact, we had 2 guys on one, or he got in there as well. But a nice change up when Rayon's done running it.
Another great pass by John Tieglin down the field, and this is Chichi getting a touchdown.
Well, it's something he's not accustomed to, is running over people in the end zone. He usually tries to run around them, so it's really a big day for him getting in the end zone on a tough run.
This one to senior Sean Hurts, a great touch pass.
Yeah, and Tiglin's very good at putting the ball where he needs to. He's very accurate, and you can see on that one, Tier dropped it in the edge for Sean.
3 straight defensive plays here. That one was a pass breakup by the Warrior defense. Now getting into the backfield and stopping the running back for a tackle for loss. And finally, this is Ryan Williams making things happen, recording a sack.
Yeah, again, it's just pressure, and we got to him. We got a lot of pressure. Got some quarterback bouncing around a little, and he just relentless pursuit for the football, and the quarterback did a great job.
2 rushes here from Rayon Simmons.
Again, you see that's Corey Christensen pulling around, sealing the edge. Receivers did a nice job, and then Ray finishing over the top of a kid for a couple extra yards after contact.
That was a lot of fun, a lot of good highlights on that tape for all the Warrior fans to see. And we will be right back. Winona State offensive lineman James Poliquin will join me after this. And welcome back to the Tom Sawyer Show here on the Warrior Sports Network. I'm now joined by Winona State offensive lineman James Poliquin. And James, it's the offense is playing extremely well right now. Both running the ball, throwing the ball. What has made you so successful offensively so far this year?
Well, I think it's just that we're so diverse in what we do. We run the ball so well, and so when the defense tries to stop us running the ball, that just opens up our pass game so well, and vice versa. When we're passing the ball well, they try to cover, and then we just start running the ball. So, I mean, it just helps that we can do both things very, very well.
You mentioned success doing both running and passing. You have so many weapons offensively right now. John Tieglin throwing the ball, Rayon Simmons rushing the ball. You got you're 5-6 deep on the receiving core guys who can go make plays. How nice is it as an O-lineman when you line up and you're ready for a play, you can look over and see just so many weapons on this offense?
Oh, it's unbelievable because every play we can take it to the house, and that's really just a luxury to have, that we have so many weapons that can do so many great things. It's awesome just to sit back, protect, or make holes for them and watch what they can do, because they do what they do well.
One of those weapons that we've talked a lot about this year is Rayon Simmons. Became the school's all-time leading rusher 2 weeks ago, closing in on the conference rushing mark. But his records are really records that you guys on the offensive line have kind of made your own. How nice is it to have a guy behind you who's breaking all these records, and it allows people sometimes to to looking, well, that offensive line that's letting him do those things is pretty good too.
He is awesome. He's the best running back I've obviously ever blocked for, and when we do what we do right, he's popping off 10, 15 yards a run, and even if we don't do something right, he's still getting 4, 5, 6 yards a carry. So it's really awesome that he's so good. Even if we don't do something right, he's still making us look good, and vice versa. When we do something well, he's taken it so far.
How much does it help the offensive line? You've been together for a couple years now, a lot of continuity, a lot of starts on this offensive line. How much does it help to have that familiarity with the other guys who are lining up next to you?
Well, the O-line, much like every position group, is just one big family. And when family plays together for a long time, it just becomes natural. We don't talk as much as we normally do because we know what everyone is supposed to be doing on every play. And that just really helps us because the less we talk, the less the defense can know what we're doing. And it just makes us, it's just great.
Going forward, you're 4-1 coming off a great win down in Upper Iowa. Sioux Falls comes in to Winona on Saturday. They're a newcomer to the league. What do you have to do to beat Sioux Falls on Saturday?
We have to play our game. We have to make holes for Rayon. We got to protect long enough to get Tieglin to hit any one of our great receivers. And as long as we do as a team what we've been doing the past 5 weeks, it'll be a great game to watch.
All right, we'll be looking forward to seeing you out there and looking forward to a good one on Saturday night under the lights here in Winona. We will be right back with more of the Tom Sawyer Show after this.
Financial startophobia. Fear of financial endeavors causing putting off till the day after tomorrow that which should have been done the day before yesterday.
If you have financial startophobia, I would recommend Merchants Bank. I had a little touch of financial startophobia, had a good recommendation, I went to the bank and had a great experience. Merchants Bank has personal service. I'm not afraid of anything. They've been around for over 130 years. You know who you're dealing with. Merchants Bank, the bank that's service-built.
Welcome back to the Tom Sawyer Show. I'm now joined by Winona State Defensive Coordinator Brian Curtin and Coach Curtin. We talk about this every week with Coach Sawyer, and now that you're here, we'll get your insights on this. But it seems like each week in the NSIC you're playing a great quarterback who's heading a great offense. How much of a challenge is it as a defensive coordinator to prepare for all of the different weapons that playing in this league makes you face?
It's been very challenging. There is a lot of good quarterbacks. Just looking at some statistics yesterday, there's 7 offenses that are putting up more than 400 yards a game total offense. And they all do it a little differently. Duluth is going to run the football, play action pass, throw the ball, and do those kind of things. The last couple of weeks we've seen some, not spread football, but it spreads you out a little bit more, still have tight ends in the game. But the up-tempo, it's kind of the rage in college football right now, trying to wear a defense out. Forcing us really to prepare and condition our athletes a little differently. Trying to really reach into a bag of tricks to try to find something to get them ready for that tempo on Saturday. And against Mary, I thought we did a nice job with those things. And I think it paid some dividends. But I think you saw a little bit towards the end of the game the fatigue start to set in our players, and their quarterback was doing a great job. He's probably throwing the football one of the best we've seen so far this year.
You mentioned how diverse these offenses are. You see so many different things. And then you mentioned, the spread and how prevalent that is in college football right now. What do you try to do defensively to stop these teams that spread you out and throw the football 40 times a game? What do you have to do to stop or at least slow down one of those teams?
We spent a lot of time looking at protections, trying to figure out how, the best way we can, get a free rusher or at worst, get one of our backers or D linemen singled up on a running back, and try to get people around the quarterback's feet as much as we can, and try to get hits on the quarterback. Sometimes it's not all about sacks. If you can hit the quarterback, they start not step into football, balls start to sail, maybe make them get it out a little faster than they want to. But I think, if you look at us play, you've seen a much more up-tempo, more aggressive style of defense. And then once in a while we'll show down and try to drop out and play some coverage. But we're really trying to make that quarterback as uncomfortable as possible in the pocket is what we're really trying to do.
One of the things that you've been successful at so far this year is forcing turnovers. Forced 2 turnovers on Saturday against Upper Iowa, 3 the week before against the University of Mary, including a very key interception return for a touchdown by Jared Mitchell, a guy who's stepped in and is playing really well for your defense right now.
You know, we spend a lot of time focusing on creating turnovers. We talk about creating turnovers every day in practice. We expect to have a minimum of 3 turnovers. In all honesty, we felt going into the Mary game that our turnovers were down, that we weren't causing as many. We didn't see our guys getting after the football quite the way we wanted to, seeing them ripping at the ball and doing those things. And we really put an emphasis on it the last couple of weeks. And felt like in both those football games early on, you know, we saw those guys trying to get after the football, causing some turnovers. I think there was a turnover or two that, you know, they didn't give us, even in that Upper Iowa game. But you know, as the game went on, we weren't ripping at the ball quite as much, and that's going to be an emphasis again going in this week because it's critical for us, and we've done a very good job causing turnovers over the last couple of years.
The position group that you work most closely with is the defensive backs, and it's a very, very talented group that you put on the field each week. Ryan Williams, a senior at safety, 2 really good corners in Darby Lundy and Chris Norgard. How nice is it for you to have those individual talents who can really step up and make some plays and change games like we've seen in the last couple of weeks?
Well, first, it's real nice when you can put them all on the field at the same time. You know, been battling some injuries, which then really shows that we do have some more depth. We've had some guys step in. You know, we've played 3 different safeties a lot. All have done a nice job. We've had start 3 different corners, in 4 games. So we've had to juggle the lineup. I think we've probably played with 3-4 different lineups, and guys for the most part been able to step in and do some real good things for us. So I think that, you know, that really creates you know, a confidence for us as a staff to really try to get after people and be a little more aggressive. We've made some switches, some changes in our pressure packages because we do have, you know, confidence that with Chris and Darby and those other guys out there, we match up pretty well with the receivers that we're playing against.
It's another high-powered offense that comes in this Saturday. Sioux Falls, they're a conference newcomer, new team to the league. How much do you know about Sioux Falls, and what do you have to do to slow them down?
Before yesterday, I didn't know a lot about them at all. Didn't know much. Knew that they were at NAIA power. You know, won a lot of national championships at the NAIA level. Knew they were going to be talented when they came in. Just looking at the film the last 2 days, they have some very good athletes. Their quarterback can run and throw. Does a nice job there. They got number 2 that they, you know, big 6'2", 6'3", 215-pound guy that played quarterback in 5 games for them last year that they basically played just about everywhere on offense as a skilled player. They got some receivers that can run a little bit. You know, number 10, their leading receiver, does a great job getting deep on people and doing some things. So we got some challenges there that we're looking forward to competing against and you know, spend the week getting ready for.
Last question for you. You've been with this Warrior program for quite a while now. I think it's your 15th or 16th season. And so you've seen a lot of great players come through this program, including one of them, your brother, who was the school's all-time leading rusher until Rayon Simmons broke that 2 weeks ago. You've seen a lot of guys come through this program. What makes Rayon as special as he is?
I think, you know, just hard work, just being able, you know, I played with Dave Ludy, who was the all-time leading rusher, was here, my brother was here, and then, you know, Ray and I think what you see is those guys have a work ethic. They're all different in their running styles. They're all completely different. But the key is, one, longevity, being able to show up every day and play football in a position that takes a beating. You know, you shoot NFL guys, they play 5 years and they're considered over the hill nowadays. I mean, they take a pounding. And I think that's, you know, Ray runs hard, so he takes a lot of hits and he gives a lot. You know, he takes and receives punishment every week. You know, you don't see him out in the open field just running around, you know, 80-yard runs. He's usually running a guy over after about 10 yards and dragging another one. Kind of like the touchdown he had at home. I think he carried all 11 guys in the end zone. So I mean, I think, you know, just that determination and physical toughness, I think, is kind of what has, you know, got Ray where he's at.
We'll get to see Ray, the Warrior defense, everybody out on the field Saturday night, 6 o'clock here at Verizon Wireless Stadium as the Warriors play Sioux Falls. It's going to be a great game, a great atmosphere. We hope we can see you all there. And until next time, thanks for watching the Tom Sawyer Show.